Hi Scorpio, welcome to your July reading. Okay, I have some notes here, so let's go. We're going to do astrology first, and then we'll do the cards when you can see them from overhead, and you can watch me shuffle, and then we'll talk about the cards together. But first, let's get a handle on what the planets are doing, and this applies especially if you're a Scorpio rising, but it still applies if you're a Scorpio. All right, so here we go. So on July 5th, Mars moves into Taurus. What does that mean? That means that Mars is moving into your relationship sector, and everything goes into hyperspeed for you. Often, as a Vedic Taurus, I have told people I will sit still so long that you think I'll never move, and then all of a sudden you turn around and I'm gone. And Mars in Taurus is definitely giving that energy. A lot of you have been stuck in one way or another in a relationship pattern, whether you've been single for a long time, or you've been with someone for a long time, or you've been married for a long time. Whatever is the nature of your relationship with others, it's about to change drastically. And it's done from your end. It's not the universe doing it. It's not some outside force that's pushing you. It's not some sort of peer pressure from a parent, a relative, a friend, a significant other. This is you saying, I want to get married. I want to have a kid. I want to get divorced. I want to go the next, go to the next level. Anything that is brewing in that relationship sector for you, Mars moves into that area, and you just want your way, and you don't mind that it's sudden, and you don't mind how people are reacting to it being sudden. You feel great about it, and that's all that you care about. And that's fine. Start a new relationship, start a family. Do whatever you want. It's what you've been wanting to do for quite some time, but something was missing, and now you have it. So don't question it. Just feel your way through it and go and do that. In established relationships, if you use this Mars and Taurus energy to basically be a set of very sharp horns, you can alienate people, and you can be so domineering without even meaning to. You're like, oh, I'm just being myself, but there's like an extra twist on it. It's extra tart because of Mars and Taurus, and people can get way offended and leave. So just keep that in mind, that people are kind of hair trigger wanting to leave because they feel so deeply disrespected from the way that you can be when Mars is in Taurus. But if you know it and you are cognizant of it and you're aware of it, then it's fine. So it's just something to, keep in your mind. Now, the only way forward is what I have written here is open, honest communication that doesn't alienate the other party. If you can't do that, stop wasting time. So for those of you who are any sort of relational battle right now, if you are not willing to sit down with the person and really tell them how you feel, stop wasting their time and stop wasting your time. Do not play these games. You are only hurting yourself. You're also hurting the other person, but you're hurting yourself very, very deeply, and you deserve better for yourself. So if you really can't have that candid conversation, and it's fine if you can't have it, just be honest about that, and let's move forward. Okay. The other thing here is that aside from needing to kind of open up to yourself and say, can I be honest about this? Can I have this conversation? Aside from all these people who you need to have these conversations with, there's also this disproportionate need from everyone around you for your attention, for your expertise, just for your presence. And it's not just your imagination. Yes, people are being super needy with you right now, to the point where it's insulting. Like, it feels bad. Like, don't you care about me, that I need time for me, that I need to do stuff for me? It can make you kind of feel sad and in your feelings that everyone's just, chomping at the bit, waiting to get at you for their own reasons. Excuse me. It can be a lot. And the thing is, like, instead of getting upset, you need to just put your foot down and find the balance, because if you just give right now, and at the end of the month when you have great opportunities coming in, where's the energy going to come from for you? It's just something to think about. Now, from the 27th of July till the 11th of August, you have the North Node and Uranus conjunction ongoing. And again, it's in your house of relationships. It's in Taurus. So for you, especially if you're a Scorpio rising, this is big shifts. If you are single, it's very possible to start a sudden relationship with someone who's super, super different from yourself. It's very possible to suddenly have a baby. It's very possible to just like run away with somebody. Excuse all of that is on the docket. Mm-hmm. Now, you also may suddenly want a life outside of your job. And for those of you who have an ongoing business and outside of your job and you just feel extra motivated to get into that and pour more of yourself into it, great. But for others, it's just like something that's coming out of nowhere. You just want something else. You want something else. You want something that's outside of your job. It's not a hobby. You want something of your own. And it goes along with this whole idea of wanting to deepen a relationship, get married, have a baby, or leave a relationship so you can get into one that you like more. It's all about you getting fed up and getting to the point where you need to nurture yourself, and you know exactly what you need to do to nurture yourself. You know exactly what you need, and yet you wait and you don't do it. And now, again, this is not an external thing, even though yes, Mars is in Taurus, but this is internal. This is you just wanting to do it now. You know, and that's okay. That's good, because nobody can make you do anything anyway. And they've certainly tried and failed. And, you know, maybe even you were wondering to yourself, am I ever going to feel like it? Am I ever going to get to the point where I feel like doing these things that other people around me are doing? Well, yeah, you're feeling like doing a lot of those things now. And so don't question it. You know, trust your instincts. You have such good instincts. You're so smart. You're so tuned in. Just go with that, and don't apply your past endeavors to whatever comes next, because it deserves to have a life of its own, and you deserve to have a life outside of your past, right? As well as a life outside of your job. That's what I have written here. You want your own thing, okay? And your focus keeps shifting that way. It's hard to hide it. It's hard to get away from it. It doesn't mean that you push people, though. It doesn't mean that you expect a lot from other people because now you've got it in you that you've got this dream and you've got to go do this thing. Don't take the excitement you're feeling and translate it as pressure onto other people. Don't do that. Let them have their own way with your energy. You're like, this is, you know, hey guys, this is what I want to do. And let them then interpret that however they do, and let them express to you what that means to them, and let them help you. Instead of telling them what to do and pushing them in that or this direction, let them come to you with the ways that they think up that they want to help you, because it's going to be so much more genuine and so much more helpful. Okay, so there's a study, excuse me, I'm just getting over like a really bad flu from like a month ago, but there's a study that proves how giving people just a little bit of autonomy at work can do wonders for their productivity. So in this study about decorating cubicles, people who were allowed to decorate their cubicles however they wanted were about 35% more productive and happier at work. So in the same way, you want to involve people in your passion, in your vision, whatever's going on with you right now that's got you flowing, but you want them to get involved in their own way, and you want them to retain that agency, and just as you're enjoying your agency. So we don't want to take this passion, this drive, this Mars and Taurus, and implement this on other people. This is a personal thing. Okay? You want to use that speed. You want to use that energy. You want to use that impetus. It's not for anybody else, and so don't use it on them. They're not going to understand it. They're going to misinterpret it. They're going to feel bad. They're going to feel like you're like, you know, trying to force them to do stuff. You know how it is. Like, people can very easily be alienated by someone who is super driven and knows exactly what they want. Let's keep going. So the first 2 weeks of July, they're annoying and slow, but the sun moves into Leo and suddenly everything picks up, and now it's so much better than you were expecting. So the first 2 weeks, see why I'm saying don't be hard on people who are messing up, because even the people that are messing up, they're part and parcel of the first 2 weeks just financially being a drag. And then all of a sudden, as soon as the sun moves into Leo, and then, you know, Mercury will also be in Leo, yeah, everything's better, and it's so much better, and it's working out better than you thought it would, and you're so much happier about it than you thought you'd be, and you didn't have to do as much if you really think about it, right? So now let's move to July 28th, Jupiter retrograde. So you will be annoyed with the slowness that then hits on the 28th again. So what do we have here? We have about a week and a half of you getting all your financials in order, right? We have like a week and a half, like for after the first 2 weeks of July, you have like a week and a half, and then you have Jupiter retrograde, and then everything financially slows down again. So in that week and a half, try to get done as much as you can. Try to have people pay you in that week. Try to invoice for that week. Try to, you know, pay your bills that week. Try to get everything done that you need to get done for the month in that week, because when Jupiter retrograde hits, things get slower in terms of money. But they're getting slower because they're trying to direct you in another way, some way that you used to make money, thought about making money before. They make you harken back to something that could actually make you a lot of money, and they're trying to, Jupiter retrograde is trying to redirect you over that way. Because remember, Jupiter is about expansion. So in one way or another, the retrograde is about going back to something that could have been big. Okay? That's how I want you to see it. And then there is this allowing. Okay, so I want to talk more about this when we have the cards in front of us, but there is this allowing of your curiosity. So a lot of Scorpios do so much for the people around them, and especially right now when people are going to be so disproportionately needy, and everyone feels like you don't need to have a life of your own at all, you just need to help them with whatever they're going through. It can be so consuming and so unfair and so deeply hurtful without anyone to talk to about it, because how do you say to the people that you would talk to about it that they're taking advantage of you? Who do you talk to about the people who you would talk to people about, if that makes any sense? So it can be very isolating, and it can be very lonely and kind of sad, to feel like you just give, and even when you're feeling burnt out and you're feeling like you've given too much, there's nobody there to really commiserate with. Or what's even more hurtful, I think, is that people don't recognize it on their own that they're taking too much. I think that's what the real pain can come from. But you don't really know what pain is until you start to get to the end of the month, and you have this opportunity to take all these trips and spend this money and do things for yourself, but you don't have the time or the energy or the money because you've committed everything to everybody else. That's pain. So at the beginning of the month, when you feel like overcommitting, and when you feel like people pleasing, and you feel like going out of your way disproportionately, and you know they're being over needy and they shouldn't be this way, and you still indulge them and you still do it anyway, just know that you are doing it at the expense of indulging yourself later in the month, and you deserve it. So you'll be taking from yourself at a time where you really deserve to be very kind to yourself, and to be very kind to the healing process that you're going through, and to rob yourself of that so someone else can disproportionately, again, not a fair amount, disproportionately get your time and get your attention because they can't seem to do for themselves. That's just so unfair and hurtful. And then you have to kind of think about that. Like, are there people in my life that take so much from me and are hurtful about it and don't recognize what they're doing or what they're doing to me? Am I attracting that because I do that to myself? You gotta think about it at some point. Right? All right, let's look at the cards and then we'll talk about it more. I love you. Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to your July reading. So today, Mars moved into Taurus. Congrats for you, because it is your relationship sector, especially if you are a Scorpio rising. This means big, huge changes. Huge shifts in your thinking. Something happened. Either someone told you something, or you were relieved of some miscommunication. Something happened where you got your head screwed on straight again, and now you want to move fast. You want, for some of you want things you've never wanted before. Things that will require you to slow down, take on a different kind of life. For those of you who are single, this may mean slowing down and getting into a relationship. For those of you who are very career-minded, it might mean
slowing down enough to have a child, start a family. You're shifting gears. And it's all very grounding. It's very healthy. So don't let people mistake your suddenness for some sort of capricious behavior. It's not that at all. It's not based on your whim. These are thoughts you've been having for a long time. But like with everything else, you just wait until your instincts tell you that the time is right. And I guess the time is right now. So, Four of Swords, Knight of Cups, the Hermit, King of Swords, Nine of Cups. Come on. Even the card is stubborn. Nine of Cups, Five of Cups. There it is. Okay. All right. Let's talk, Scorpio. Now that we have your cards for the general, we'll shuffle through for the extended, but now that we have the cards for the general, let's take a look. That Knight of Cups is exactly in your astrology what we were talking about when we brought up being open and honest. Some window has been open to you, and you are allowed to use whatever is coming in. Some opportunity has been made available to you where you can start a conversation, and because you're the one that starts it, you can control the tone, you can set the tone, and as long as you're not alienating the other person and you're only speaking openly and honestly, no blame, no talk about the past, no, he said, she said, just open and honest and telling that person how you feel, especially if you've had this sudden change of heart. Now, if you're already involved in something and the trust factor just is shattered for some reason and it won't grow back, you can't make it, you can't force it, you've tried, it's very possible for you to have an open, honest conversation about that and have the other person dismiss it and want to leave. Because what they don't want to say to you is that even though they know you can't trust them anymore, they still would rather be around than not be around at all. And that's very selfish because they still get what they want, knowing that you're not happy. It sucks. So, now let's move to that Hermit energy. This is that feeling that we have, that Virgos live with every day, of needing to do more, needing to be more, needing to have more purpose, needing to be there for everyone. That's what gives them their reason to live. And people are so needy with you right now that you may very easily take on this energy and just say, okay, you know what, I'll be here for everybody. But you run the risk mid-month of getting really fed up with everybody because you're doing way too much and not enough of your cups are being filled at all. But then you can say something very harsh because you've had too much, and then you can spill some cups that can't be unspilled. But I see your point, Why does it have to get to the point where you're doing so much and no one is noticing that you lose your cool because someone asks for one too many things? Why is no one noticing on their own that there is way too much asking going on, way too much entitlement? That in and of itself is a reason to get really angry. Now, North Node in Uranus in Taurus. the conjunction from the 27th to 11th, all right here. Huge shifts, and most of them, excuse me, make you a lot of money. Here we go. But the thing to remember here is that even though this is very money related, oh, I'm so sorry. Even though this is very money related, this is not something that has to do with work. This let me find a better way to say that. This conjunction affects a lot of your life, especially your emotional life, but it does bring in a lot of money, but it doesn't make you work focused. It doesn't make you work centric at all. You are very focused on family, very focused on the people that you love, and very focused on, in many, many ways, making things much more official, which is also big, big Hierophant energy, doing the traditional thing, doing the, the expected thing, right? Now that you've figured out what you want, it's really hard to hide it from people. It's really hard to hide it from people, and it's also really hard to pretend that the things that used to be exciting or fun hold any sort of interest for you. You're just over it. You want something new. You don't feel any sort of loyalty to your lifestyle, but I'll bet a lot of people around you do. Not to their lifestyle, to yours. Right? So to leave behind and start a new life, it's great for you. Might be hell on their social life because they've been living off of you for so long. The parasites never like it when we change. Deep breath, deep breath. Let's pull some cards for the extended. Now, if you're dealing with a Taurus energy and you feel like they've been leaning towards leaving, or they just don't seem as interested, it's very, very possible that they've gotten in their heads about something. It's likely got nothing to do with you, but the withdrawing has to do with them. And the selfishness that Taurus exhibits when they move away from someone is that they don't really give an explanation. They don't feel the need to explain themselves. And that leaves people with a lot of unresolved hurt, pain, confusion. Like, what is going on? Why would you do this? This makes no sense. And it can really mess with your head. We'll talk more on this Taurus energy that can cause so much pain for Scorpios right now. But also just about that Seven of Cups in general. These moments all through Cancer season, but especially when Leo season starts, where you're like, I thought I knew exactly what was going on. Why have I completely lost my bearings? I think when you feel deceived in love, especially, things can get very messy, because for a while you don't believe it. It's hard for you to believe it. Then once you do believe it and you start like running with it, then things get very fiery, It is advisable for you to forgive anyone that hurt you and be the bigger person. It will make your hurts and pains smooth out quicker if you were to show that same level of grace and mercy to the people around you. Whatever this big shift in your head is, there's an element of having to forgive in it as well. And then 10 of Cups, 7 of Swords, and 10 of Pentacles, 7 of Swords, 10 of Cups. So here is where the conjunction brings you. This is the big question, the very big question. Oof. The very big question. Let's talk about that in the extended. The extended will be up on Patreon. Patreon's the easiest way to get your extended because it just shows up in your inbox every month. As part 1 is ready, the part 1 for this was ready like 5 days ago. As part 2 is ready, as the extended is ready, they all just go on Patreon. So it's the easiest way to have access to everything. And there's also a Vimeo link if you would rather just buy the video on its own. And if you would like to take part in a live video chat reading, they're happening on the 11th. There's a link for that below. If you would like a recorded 5-minute reading sent to you, there is a link for that below as well. If you are interested in meeting up, unfortunately, LA is sold out. Denver is still open. New York. We've added Miami and London. So those tickets are below. And if you can't make it to those events but would love to follow along on Zoom and watch from the comfort of your home, there are online tickets available to all the events. Okay? I love you, love you. I'll see you in the extended right now.